Well, hello everybody, and doesn't that championship table look damn fine? Leeds United in fourth, a game in hand, of course, over the rest of the pack going into the weekend. But we're back on +2 goal difference. We're back in the running, and could this be the beginning of Leeds United's start when it comes to this championship campaigns? Make sure you're coming in, you're slapping a like on the video, everybody. You're commenting below. I'll try and get as much of your thoughts in as quickly as possible, but I just want to relay my thoughts as well. Going into this game, we're just on the watch along, which was massively successful, thanks to about 2,600 of you who were on the watch along across all platforms. Really, really appreciate all of that stuff. My reactions to the goal maybe were a bit too much, but I don't like Sheffield Wednesday, so there we go. But yeah, shout out to all of you who joined me on that, and if you haven't already, you can join me on the watch alongs with every single championship game this season. But we're back here discussing what your guys' thoughts were, and I just want to preface this with my thoughts. Of course, as you know, with the instant match reaction, I like to come on here and give my immediate thoughts. And listen, I thought Leeds were dominant, in complete control. They weren't in the game, and apart from a couple of pressures a little bit earlier on, and the header from Bernard, which was from a Ingleson throw-in, Sheffield Wednesday had absolutely nothing, and it was very much of the Daniel Farke Leeds United performances we saw last season. Ironically, at Sheffield Wednesday, but in many games last season where Leeds were just able to take the soul of the opposition. Leeds United were dominant in every ember of the pitch when it came to the defensive capacity, the midfield capacity, and up front. I have to start at the front of the pitch. In the first half, I was maybe a little bit more critical at points of Matteo Joseph. I know a lot of you guys think that I'm in some sort of like loving with him, but I will always be critical of Leeds United footballers. I don't massively have favourites here, there, and everywhere, and agendas. I will take them on an even keel. And I thought in the first half, he wasn't holding the ball up well. I thought Leeds were trying to get him the ball and looking for those spin-offs, looking for those sort of knock-ons and all that sort of stuff. And he wasn't really providing that. And that was a little bit of an issue, I thought. I thought Leeds weren't really able to get up the pitch as much as we'd like. We saw in the second half that Leeds did that to a greater extent. That has to be said. But Matteo Joseph in that first half, he got his assist for the goal as well, which I was buzzing for. I wanted him to score, but he got that assist. And I have to say, if that second assist was, look, if De Bruyne had done that, we'd all be going like, that would be a reel at the end of the season. It'd be a reel at the end of the season if De Bruyne had done that. But of course, Matteo did that. It was imperious, it was sublime, it was cushioned, it was Dan James couldn't have asked for a better ball. What he did there was James was behind Max Lowe, I believe it was, or Jan Valery, and Joseph just predicted that he'd outpace him and played a lovely, lovely deep ball. Reminded me very much of your Harry Kanes to Young-Min Sons in the Spurs days. And fantastic. What he was doing is exactly what he was doing at West Bromwich Albion and against Portsmouth, battling with the centre-backs. I thought for the majority of the game, the majority of it, I should say, he was isolated, but quite rightly, Sky Sports offered him player of the match because his touch map was so much improved in that second half. He was physical. I also was struggling with him, and there was actually more balls that should have been played to him from Leeds United, but were a little bit hesitant when it came to those balls in and behind the fullbacks, Jan Valery and Max Lowe. But overall, a superb performance from Matteo Joseph, and I just can't wait for him to get off the mark when it comes to that goal, because when he gets that goal, I've said I've backed him for 20 this season, and when he gets that goal, another really good chance this evening, a really good chance at Portsmouth, and he should really have two so far. The first half, not great from him, in my opinion, but the second half, he was battling with the defenders. He was running them ragged, both of them, isolated as well. When it came to the top of the pitch for much of it. But yeah, I thought he was excellent against the Wednesday side who love a bit of an ignition of a press. So where else do we look on the pitch? I have to talk about Willie Gnonto, who I thought is just the X factor, the complete X factor, the man who dots everything together, the man who is priceless right now, in my opinion, in the Ellen Road stratosphere. Leeds United cannot afford to let this man go. He's the only continuum we've got of that front quartet from last season, and I just think his ability on the ball, his low centre of gravity, his balance on his left and his right hand side is Premier League level, and he's a Premier League footballer that we've got in the Championship right now. So one of the deals of the window will be keeping hold of him, and I thought in the first half Leeds came to life when he went into the number 10. And I said this at the start of the game, everybody, I was a little bit despondent at the fact Aronson had gone into the 10 and Willie Gnonto looked like he was wide left again. I just think with the players that we've got in terms of caliber, in terms of dribbling, in terms of on-the-ball creativity, innovation, Willie Gnonto has to be center of everything that's going on, because he is the crux. He is the man with the golden touch right now. Willie Gnonto, when you look at number 10, vision has to be part of it. Vision has to be part of it. An accurate pass and an eye for a pass, as we know from former number 10s in Gigi Rutter and obviously Pablo Hernandez, are key as well. Those technical expertise in that role, of which you get from an upper echelon player, are what he possesses. James doesn't possess that. Aronson doesn't possess that. In my opinion, in comparison to a Willie Gnonto. Joseph's getting there, but Gnonto is the shining light, when it comes to that attacking four. And look, flowers to Brendan Aronson and flowers to, of course, Dan James. And let's get on to those two. I mean, the goal was the best bit I've seen from those two, obviously, this season. A lovely little bit of play from Jayden Bogle to just slide that ball right. A fantastic deft touch, which you don't normally associate with Dan James, because that is the technical side of the game, of which is very, very difficult to pull off, extremely difficult to pull off. And I'm not critical of Dan James, but I think he has upsides to his game, and I think he has downsides to his game. And I think that technical aspect isn't always there with him, and that is the consistency. And that's why he's a championship footballer. That's why they're all championship footballers, because they don't have that consistency. They would be Premier League footballers if they had that. However, Dan James, I can be quite critical of him, albeit he scored a fair few goals last season. But that little interchange, that sort of switcheroo between him and Aronson was fantastic. Love under pressure as well. Under pressure, the defender was right up James's arse. Little flick on. Aronson into the middle. Gnonto in the 10, played a lovely ball, a fantastic weight of pass to Joseph. Should have got it out of his feet and shot, but cut back inside. Is that to do with confidence? Maybe trying to open the angle up for himself on his left foot? I don't know. But obviously the ball ricocheted into the path of Aronson with another good finish. It almost seemed quite similar to the Portsmouth finish, where he wasn't looking up at goal, but just sort of swiped the ball into the back of the net. And I was buzzing for him. Not much of a celebration, and I think he knows that. He's got a big season ahead of him, and this just isn't it. But it's been a good start for him. And I just thought, at least with Aronson in there, it's probably the best we've seen of him in a long time, to be honest. Energy, endeavour, but also a willingness to want the ball, and that is key. A willingness to want the ball, a bravery to pick the ball up and go again and go again and go again. Willingness to pick the ball up deep, on the left, on the right, in that central space, even in that false nine space sometimes when Matteo Joseph would drop into that midfield spot to help defending. I thought Aronson was terrific tonight. A few deficiencies in his game, but I am being extremely critical, of which I am with this Leeds side, because maybe my standards are too high with him and James. I still think there's improvements. They're spell players for me, and we need more of that. I think Willie Gnonto is way more than a spell player. I think he's way more consistent. I think Joseph's way more consistent. And let's get on to the other sides of this performance as well. Another player that I have to give the flowers to, Jayden Bogle. Fantastic right-sided performance. And that is what you get with Jayden Bogle. We're all very, very happy at him signing for Leeds United. And I thought he was terrific. Absolutely terrific. I thought his attacking play was excellent. Was it Masaba or Masawa on his side, the left-hand side? Obviously, Bogle's right. Couldn't get anything out of him. Couldn't get a yard out of him. Couldn't get a deflection off him. Could not get anything off him. The 1v1 defending was excellent. He wasn't square. He was side on every single time. And he was marshalling anyone who was on that side. Sometimes Bannon would try switch out onto that left and weighing the ball in with his left foot, but he did it twice because he could not get past that football IQ, giving yourself a little bit of a yard that Bogle was doing every single time. And I thought he was excellent. He was key in the build-up as well. I thought every time he got the ball, he was positive. When he got forward, he was a danger. And you could tell, I'll be honest, he was well up for this one. Absolutely massively up for this game. Sheffield Wednesday, obviously. And if he's up for that, and if he plays at that standard for the rest of the campaign, focus, concentration on point as well, he's going to have a very, very good campaign. Ethan Ampadu and Gruev. I was a little bit critical of Gruev beforehand. I was talking about his lateral play. I was talking about his backwards football. I genuinely believe in the second half in particular. He maybe waned a little bit, but that first half he was excellent. He was going forward, he was direct, he was getting involved in the tackle, he was igniting and engaging the press, recovering the ball high. I think Simon Hooper as a referee was absolutely abhorrently bad tonight, and I think we'd have caught them a lot higher with players like Gruev. if he would have just let the play go a little bit and actually played football. But yeah, Grev, I thought was much more impressive than I thought. I still think, if I'm being hypercritical, I thought Rothwell would have maybe done more of a job in an attacking sense in that part of the pitch. But Grev was very, very, very good. What else do we need to talk about? Ampadu, probably his best game of the season. Just donned it. Combative, physical, athletic, class. Ivan Edel, just the general in the midfield, proper captain's performance. And then we have to go back to our boy who previously, before the game, we were speaking on Pascal Struijk having the highest completion rate in the entire division. He was, if it wasn't, I'd probably have it as a shout out between Bogle, Struijk, and Joseph for the man of the match tonight. I thought Pascal was sublime. And because Pascal's like that week in, week out, nobody really gives him his flowers anymore. Pascal was sublime. His passing out from the back, his aerial duels. Jamal Lowe didn't know what had hit him because he was trying to veer on Pascal's side. I was noticing that he's obviously a right-footed player as well, Jamal Lowe, so it's easy for him to open up his body on Pascal's side, not on Rodon's side. But he was trying to sort of away a little bit on Pascal. Pascal was having none of it. He was superb. The ability on the ball he has for such a big man, the threat he is for us when it comes to set pieces is so important. And his conversation was really good. If I'm to have one negative of the game as well, it's the Superman in net who I just keep the ball away from him and I'm fine. I have to say, towards the back, other slight negative is, if I'm being really, really picky, I mentioned this at the end of the game in the watch along. Rothwell and Perot, did they need to be brought on with 6 minutes left? Could you not have brought Crew on or DeBayo on, give them that experience and not bring your senior pros on in that game with that amount of time left, which isn't going to do them any good. We didn't really need to see the game out. Wednesday were offering nothing. So I just thought maybe you could have just brought some of the kids on for that and not sort of have that with the kids coming on. But there we go. That's me being very, very, very picky. I'm going to have to just come over to my laptop here, everybody, and get some of your comments in. Let's get some of the start. Anthony's in and Lee's in the building. Shout out to you guys. The sun is shining here in Queensland. Manos Solomon coming to Leeds. Where have you seen that, mate? Where have you seen that? I've not seen that anywhere. Disagree with Bogle. Great going forward, but defensively he appears weak and he will get rinsed. Irish Whites, I've not. In that game, you saw that, mate. In that game, you saw that. And I don't know. I don't know where you saw that, mate. I have to disagree. I have to really disagree. I think that's incredibly harsh. I thought Bogle was... I actually, if I'm being brutally honest with you guys, I thought he was man of the match tonight. Yeah, I said that in the watch log. I thought he was man of the match. He didn't get anything wrong. His passing accuracy was brilliant. He was inverting on that right-hand side so well in terms of coming forward and creating chances, creating space for Leeds. Wednesday didn't know what to do from him. He was an attacking outlet, but as well defensively. I didn't see anything wrong. I thought every duel was won. Even aerially, he was much better than he was in the Portsmouth game for a prime comparison. I thought he was excellent tonight. Really, really good. What else is going on? I was impressed by Aronson. All he knew was good enough technically, but it really, physical in this division. It's 7 a.m. here in Brisbane. Nice start to the day. Gnonto looks shaky defensively. Wow, really? Okay, interesting. Gnonto has to stay. Eric says great energy, and the majority of the passing was crisp today. Gnonto was man of the match. Greb should play more further forward. Gnonto class. Look how stable we've become when Pascal is present. You are missing Joseph plays 10. Really good vision and pass. Yeah, definitely, mate. James, probably my favourite player. James is good enough in my opinion, but we need signings for depth regardless. Everyone, that's what I'd probably say as well. When it comes to what's going on right now, I'd probably say, and I said this before the game as well, don't let maybe that performance. And the ironic thing is James and Aronson, who probably would be replaced in the starting lineup with the attacking players that we've got coming in. Don't let that take you away from us needing players. We do need players. Because we're going to come up against better teams than that. And I think the Borough game in particular showed you how the depth was missing. Bamford, look, let's just not. And Verba, is there a move there potentially away from the club towards the back end of the window? I think potentially. Sinister just said, what happens with Perot now? Yeah, I don't know really. I don't know really. I think it's going to be a very similar position to what we've seen with Perot in previous seasons. Well, previous season I should say, which is the manager not really using him and utilising him. I think Aronson there now brings a bit more energy, endeavour. He brings more of a press, which is a Daniel Farke hallmark, a press, and you saw that today. You know, when you've got a team pressing, like I mentioned in the preview this morning of Aronson, of Joseph and of Dan James, there might not be the utmost quality there, but you've got a hell of a lot of a press and you've got more option to recover the ball high up. But yeah, I would love to see Pro integrated a little bit more. And maybe that's why I was frustrated at him bringing him on with 6 minutes to go, because it's not going to do the player any good at all, confidence wise, and mentality. He's going to think he's pretty much surplus to requirements coming on. When we won the game against Sheffield Wednesday, and he brings him on for 6 minutes, similar to Rothwell bringing him on for 2 or 3 minutes. I just hope we're not looking at a situation here with Rothwell where it's like a Connor Roberts situation. I think you've just got to utilise your bench a little bit more and more effectively and flip it up a little bit, because I don't think Rothwell in that game would have suffered whatsoever. But Grove was decent today. He definitely was decent. In your opinion, why didn't Rothwell come on? I just don't think he's got his consistency, hasn't he? He's got his consistency, Mr. Farke. He's got his consistency, and I think he's tried and trusted Gruev. He's a safe option, isn't he? Who can get forward. He can, not as effectively at all as Rothwell, but I thought Gruev was good tonight. One of his better games in a Leeds shirt. But he's going up against Barry Bannon. He's going up against Barry Bannon. I just feel if Rothwell was in that game tonight, we could have had a lot more joy in that vertical build-up. But I thought, listen, Gruev was really good tonight. He was good. Andrew Roberts, good performance tonight. Joseph was great. He was indeed, mate. Farke outclass Roll tactically tonight, which is good to see. Yeah. Arden. Now you've said pronounce his name correctly, mate. I'm going to petulantly call him Perot for the rest of the stream. I like us going through the middle quicker. Gruev played forward loads. I understand not making subs till late on today. It was working well. Yeah, Ben, that's literally not what I'm saying, mate. I'm saying the substitutes was absolutely fine, but I'd have probably brought on your Cruz, your DeBayos, maybe as he did, your Gelharts, your Byrams. I'd have brought them. I just wouldn't have brought Rothwell and Perot on, two players who are probably questioning their positions a little bit in this Leeds United starting 11, I would say. I just wouldn't have brought them on for 5-6 minutes, but that's just what I would have done. Let's have a look. We pressed the game so well. Bogle was awesome. Didn't think Grove was that good. Some of you must have watched a different game to tonight. Bogle was so good, says Kelvin. Sheza says, liked how diverse we are, not funneling down one side. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. And that's the thing. Yeah, the thing with Bogle, I'm really surprised. Really surprised a lot of you think that. Irish Whites, I saw you there. You don't think Bogle was good. Yeah, fair enough, mate. It's opinions in footy, in it, but I thought it was the best game in a Leeds shirt, including pre-season tonight. I thought it was brilliant all across the pitch. So, yeah, Sam says we won't play opponents like Sheffield Wednesday every week, but we've got to beat them, mate. And before this, they'd beaten Hull away, hadn't they, in the Cup? And they're absolutely peppered. Plymouth at home, of course. But you look at their results towards the back end of last season as well. They were what, top 4, top 5. So that's what you got to take into consideration as well. It's not just this season with Roll, it's last season as well. They've been in a crest of a wave. Tonight they sold 30,000 tickets because they thought they were going to do Leeds over. So yeah, Jack Dominic, I don't want to see that, mate. I don't want to see that at all. That's what I don't want any fan to get the mindset of. We don't need signings at all. We certainly do. But guys, listen, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think. Comments in the section below. We're going to put some bonus bits, some articles and all that sort of stuff, some post-match stuff on the Patreon. We're going to be back with the 3 things tomorrow. Thank you so much. If you want to see the highlights of the watch-along, go have a watch. I was very, very animated in this one. I know you guys enjoy that. It's been an absolute pleasure, everybody, and I'll see you in a bit.